Hi again, it's JC from The Hidden. If you saw my last video, I basically did an intro on my project. So the feet arrived today. They're a bit bigger than what I was expecting, but with a bit of luck it will work out. So obviously there's quite a bit of tears to the toe legs, which I'm going to just take this opportunity to stick back down again, since it'll bug the hell out of me otherwise. Next time when I strip down the amp and do some cleaning and, you know, probe around with some test leads. So, as you can see, this is the circuit board before any cleaning started. It's quite grubby, covered in soot. Have a look at the caps here. Black, absolutely black. So is the grill at the back there. I've got a feeling this amp has seen possibly more action than it should. But definitely need to get all this grime off if we're going to make progress. Front panel needs a bit of a clean, bits missing, you know, some of the knobs are broken. Time to get cracking really, isn't it? Now you might think I'm really strange, but the best way to clean something like this is with an electronic toothbrush, going all the way along, and then baby wipes to soak up the, you know, the water. Literally a tiny drop of washing up liquid is all you need. And after I've cleaned off the soot, I've noticed that this amp has previously been repaired. As you can see, there's some marks of residue on some of the pots, which means these have been changed. I can see, for example, that this wasn't very well soldered. There's evidence of that. And this here I can see is problematic. You can see there that the solder's not been very well made either. So that's good news, because it means that there's somewhere I can start my investigations. But bad news in that it's you know, someone's not done the best job on the repair. Moved the PCB where all the valve sockets and main caps are. I've noticed that there's definitely been some additional work done to this amplifier. You can see the residue marks. I don't know if this is stock or not, but anyway, I will leave it in place. There's I noticed one here that needs some extra solder. I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up. And also one of these little wires has come loose, coming from the transformer, which ain't going to help. I've also noticed there's some scorch marks here which relate to this component, which I'm not entirely sure. It says DB101. I'll have to check the schematic to see what that signifies. It looks like some kind of inductive loop, but I don't know why you'd need that on a circuit like this. Otherwise, the board isn't as filthy as the other ones, obviously because it was hidden away.
it's not got as dirty, but you can see here that there's a lot of burn marks around these two resistors. So I wonder if they're still in good shape, and it might be worthwhile me changing these components. You can see how it's all blackened there. Yeah, so that's about it really. I'm using my electric toothbrush to basically clean the board. As I've been removing connectors, I've been labeling them up, because I think that makes it a lot easier, you know, when you're putting it all back together. I'll show you kind of what I've been doing. Like that, you can see I've labeled them up. You know, there seems to be a few kind of weird things, like this capacitor here is loose but has been wired in series with this resistor, and I'm not sure if that's stock or not. I'll have to check the schematic, but overall I'm absolutely certain that this amp has been looked at before me. As you may be able to see, this circuit board is looking rather clean, and I've added all these little tags here just for my own benefit really. I never got around to finishing it all, but that's if I disconnect them. I'm not too sure yet. On the other side of this circuit board, it's generally pretty good, I've got to say. Couple of solder joints here I would like to redo, and all of these pots I'm going to strip out. So my first task is to desolder these. Might as well get that out of the way. So I finished desoldering all of the pots, apart from this master volume, which I knew was working fine. Got rid of all the pots. And on the back control plate, I've actually replaced the presence knob, which was a B22K, I think it was. Yeah, B22K. Actually, nothing wrong with it, but I thought, nah, why not? Might as well do them all at once. Fiber washers needed to go behind all of these ones, which don't have the silver insert, and these two, which are the speaker outputs, these don't have fiber inserts, because I don't know if you can see that, but the thread is slightly wider than on these. That's 7/16 thread. That is slightly wider. So, who knew? So I'm going to put the screws back into this mains input. Fuse holders there, everything's in place. It's all looking very good. Good job, well done really. I read online that these amps have a reputation of being unreliable, and the only thing that would lead me to think that is that as I've been reassembling this main circuit board inside, I've resoldered all of the tube sockets, and there were quite a few dry joints that I corrected. But if you can see around here, there are the tube sockets. Now you can see the EL34s would stick out here, and so the heat would come this way through the amp, and I imagine that's not very good for these components here and here, or for this cabling. So what I've done is I've put this red tie wrap here to try and keep these cables away from the openings here, and I'm going to try and do the same with all of these control cables here. Try and move those well out of the way of the hot area. I mean, some of it can't be avoided, but you know, we try. So next step is to solder on all of these potentiometers. Once I've done that, we're nearly there. It's my solder socket. And I have the schematic, which is accurate as far as I know. And I'm going through and looking where all of the VRs are and replacing them on the board here. Okay, so I've fitted all the potentiometers in place. Actually, one thing I really have to praise Marshall for in their design is these slotted holes here, because it means that you can insert the pot, twist it round, and then plug it in. I mean, I've helpfully written here, for my own benefit really, what each of the values are, you know, from looking at the schematic. But because of these slotted holes, actually, you can actually peek through here. Yeah, can you see? You can actually see the values of the pots peeking through the holes, which I love. I absolutely love that. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you know. Next step is to flip this over and solder all the legs, and then I can do the final tightening up. Okay, all pots soldered. So I have completed the task of putting this piece in. It really pleases me to see how the washers fit in the gap and this goes over the top. It's really, finish is lovely. Right, well, I've just fitted all the glass. These are Svetlana Winged Seas, actually, which came in the amp when I bought it, which is actually fine. I would have put the same in myself. Don't know how old they are, and I haven't checked the bias, obviously, but all I want to do at the moment is switch this amp on. Well, I've put the amplifier into the speaker box. I swapped out the original crosshead screws, countersunk screws, because they were all stripped out and a load of rubbish, and I put these Allen key ones instead, so I thought they might last a little bit longer.